Joining us right now on the phone line is Gordon Bethune. He is former Continental Airlines chairman and CEO and a CNBC contributor. Gordon, thank you for joining us this morning.
Glad to do it.
One of the questions I have about the bailout numbers for the airlines specifically is how long you think that money will last, given the extension of at least what I think the expectation is now in terms of when we go back to even some semblance of normal. And so when the president talks about June, and I don't know if you think June is right or not, but you have to imagine it will extend out potentially when it comes to air travel for a much longer time than even that. Do the rescue efforts that the government has made with taxpayer money, will it suffice?
Well, I suspect it would go through the summer with taxpayer money subsidizing and maybe doing some of the things like Bill LeBeau says, consolidating flights. But that's kind of pie in the sky because our government's so anal about that, lack of competition, and the Justice Department, they precluded us from doing that after 9/11, even though it does make a lot of sense. So those big policy decisions will depend, predicate would the answer. But I would suspect that they'll be okay without layoffs, significant layoffs, by the end of the summer.
And then, Gordon, the other question I think that investors have today is, effectively, would you ever put money behind an airline? Do you think that long term there is going to be new legislation and new regulations that require airlines, for example, to have, massive balance sheets to withstand these types of things, rainy day funds, things that will prevent them from doing buybacks and dividends and other things in the future, and what that does to change the dynamic of this industry?
Well, Andrew, it pretty much guarantees an outcome like Amtrak. So if the government runs it, it's not going to make a lot of money because of the rules and the regulations, especially if you put balance sheet restrictions. That really makes capital-intensive industry even worse. So I don't see that happening. I think we had a dynamic industry with the economy. The airlines are the lifeline of an economy. You get the trade going around the world. So if we can rebuild the economy, which I see steps being taken to do it, we're not going to be this way next year. That will return to revitalize the airline industry. It's revitalize the aircraft manufacturing industry as well.
So you're not anticipating legislation that would regulate the industry more aggressively than today. I think there's a lot of people out there, and by the way, this is not just true of the airline industry, but more broadly, who say, look, we have privatized the gains and we socialize the losses. We seem to do it every single time. We don't give much credit to companies that actually do create rainy day funds because taxpayers seem to be willing to jump in to help anytime that there's a problem. Don't you think that there has to be a change there?
Well, I would say, given today, yes, there would be, but today it could be seen as a black swan event. I mean, the whole world shutting down is unprecedented, but we've become a global economy, and these kinds of things are happening or could happen. They've happened before. Before there was an airline industry back in 1918 with the flu. So we're learning as we go that the world is getting smaller, and what happens in one nation quickly affects others and it spreads around the world pretty quickly. That would be true if the government owned the airlines, as you recall, especially in Europe where governments control and own the airlines. That didn't save them from going private because of the losses. So I don't know. I say, yes, it's possible what you're talking about, but I don't see it. I just don't see it happening anytime soon.